Well, good morning. This is Tampa Home Talk, and I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. Hopefully, I've got a voice good enough to get you through the next 2 hours. It's been a little bit waning this morning, but
that's what we're here for, Kat.
Nonetheless,
oh, nice. Boy, we can barely hear him. Boy, what is the matter with that guy? Is he still out in the parking lot in his car?
No.
It'd be warmer if I was.
Yeah, he had to go run and turn the air down real quick.
Yeah, so there's a temporary cold snap here in the office, which might actually cause a tropical movement across the state of Florida this weekend. 70% chance.
Oh, Leo.
Hey, we get our first event of the summer.
No way. There's nothing. It's barely a chance of rain today.
No, it's like a 60% chance of rain today.
You're going to turn yourself up.
Oh, something changed for sure.
No, nothing changed.
When I looked at it, it was like 10%. No, it was 40% today.
And when did you look
tomorrow,
at it?
A day ago.
Okay.
It was 40% today and none Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, but it's going to be windy and bad surf for boating.
I love windy. Windy's good for claims, right, Adam? See, look.
Yes.
I'm not making stuff up. I'm on NOAA's website. There's a red X right there.
Windy is not good because then you can't go on the boat.
No, windy's great because shingles start flying off your roof, and so do tiles.
They do, but you need to call the claims department first before you get up there and start doing it yourself, because that could cause some issues. I saw that this week.
All right, so let's go over numbers, shall we? This is going to be a little bit skewed because we have quarter one numbers.
These Corona numbers?
Well, I mean,
no,
Leo,
actually no. The first quarter, we're going to recap the first quarter of real estate. This is Leo with Beryl Engineering and Inspection, joined with Adam Talley from Talley Insurance.
Good to be here.
Because he didn't sound like Katrina.
Yeah, I know.
So go ahead.
So basically, with these numbers, though, you remember the world ended on March 11th. 2020.
You would remember the exact day. I'm so proud of you.
Of course. I remember it because I was sitting in my favorite restaurant, which is now permanently closed. And
which one?
I can't remember the name of it. It's that long ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I was sitting in the restaurant, I looked up at the TV, and I'm like, NHC declares a pandemic. And I'm like, well, maybe I should cancel my trip to Belize this week. And the whole country shut down. Less than 48 hours later, and the stock market crashed. So that's the day the world ended, March 11th, 2020. So when you look at the quarter one real estate recap numbers for the Quad County area, what we end up happening to do is we only have 2 weeks of the world ending. And because real estate kind of was lagging a little bit behind, it took about a month for the real estate market to truly see the impacts. Because even going into the beginning of April, Tampa Bay Times was still posting articles about how thriving the real estate market was using February numbers. So these first quarter numbers only have 2 weeks of the world ending data in it. So they're going to look great.
I still think that even when quarter two posts, it's going to be good as well. We'll have a little bit, we had that dip where we slowed down a little. Let me go back.
The 3 days it took for title companies to move home.
Yeah, and Danielle Evans is here with us too. So she sees kind of like what I see because she sees the orders, right? So, I mean, look, this is the first. No, that was a month.
That's a month in. And I love the way that when the numbers got more dismal, the font got bigger.
No, that was when Katrina printed it compared to when Mimi printed it.
Because now that the market's rebounded, I can barely read this without a microscope now.
Okay, so let me go over last week's numbers. And then, again, I'm literally looking at this. This report from Florida Realtors for quarter one was just released Tuesday.
For the Quad County area.
For 4 counties. Yes, Leo. 4 counties.
You're real proud of that.
Hernando. Someone's got to champion Hernando.
So closed sales in your 4 counties, Leo.
Hey, why can't we get the Catherine Starkey of Hernando County on our show? Why does it only Pasco County?
She's not in Hernando.
I know, but why can't we get her from Hernando County on our show?
We could if you really wanted her.
I really want to.
Then we'll reach out to her.
Reach out to the Catherine Starkey of Hernando County.
And then what?
We'll have him on the show.
Get him to share MLS.
Well, you got something. But no, if we get him on the show, you know what I'm going to ask him? Why they have a different freaking MLS and the rest of the state?
No.
That's what I'm going to ask him.
Yes, I want to be here that day.
We will. No. We'll ask all the questions that we normally ask Catherine. And then,
okay, hold on.
Can't remember his name. Who's the gentleman that monopolizes the hour with witty banter more so than me when he's on the show for Pasco?
Mike?
Yes.
Mike
I
Fasano.
like Mike. Mike's awesome.
I like
Everybody
Mike.
likes
I love Mike.
He's a good follow.
So
on
yeah, we should
Facebook.
get Mike Fasano and the Catherine Starkey of Hernando
he's just
County
mad
on the show.
Because Mike told him on the air, Leo, this is my hour.
I knew I liked Mike.
I love Mike. He was my neighbor for years. Greatest man.
So, Danielle, let's go back to the Hernando MLS thing for a minute.
Ugh.
So it's first of all, let me just mind you, outside of like Miami, some places in the Panhandle, the rest of the state lives on my Florida Regional MLS, including Tampa.
Not Hernando.
Except for Hernando.
They don't share. They don't like to share. They don't want a reciprocal. They don't want anybody in. If you're with another MLS, they like boycott you. We used to have both, and then one day I just said enough is enough.
So
why did Florida Realtors go out of their way to put Hernando in the
they
Quad
have
County?
to because they're still Florida Realtors.
Yeah.
Hernando is still Florida Realtors.
Yeah, but they don't have to include them in the Quad County area.
Yes, they do. Well, I don't know. It's relative, right? If somebody says, I'm looking to buy a home in Tampa, and they end up in Hernando, that's how
I feel
it
really
becomes-
sorry for them because it's completely different.
Yeah, they missed the market.
They missed the market.
The mark that's missed, though, is that the majority of the educated public will not go to a Hernando County real estate agent. They will go to a My Florida Regional. They'll go to Pasco. They'll take a Hernando agent, but that Hernando agent better be a part of My Florida
You
Regional.
just heard it.
or
Educated
they
people
don't
do
want
not
it.
move to Hernando County. You
Wow.
heard it
They
first
don't
from
pick
Danielle
agents.
Evans.
That was
No.
Danielle
They
Stevens.
don't pick
No.
agents from the Hernando side because they're limited. They
Let me,
don't see
yeah,
everything.
Let's dive into this because what she's saying is there's different MLSs for different areas, right? So
When's the Keller MLS come out?
that's a whole nother huge can of worms we're not opening up today. But outside of that, you know, Hernando MLS is only there because they reciprocate with what, citrus or no? They do citrus, no?
They don't reciprocate with citrus anymore that I'm aware
They
of.
used to.
I mean, I might
Because then we'd have
so they might.
What is the term for 5 county? I know we got Quad County, Tri County,
Listen,
Dual County.
we serve Hernando, so I have to be a member of Hernando MLS. But the difference is, and this is what Danielle is saying, if you lived in Hernando County and you hired someone to sell your listing, you better make sure 2 things. Either one, their MLS is really they have to have both.
They have to have both. If they don't have both, they are limiting
Yeah.
to their customer. I don't feel like it's even fair. And then as an appraiser, we have the reciprocal through My Florida Regional. It doesn't give you the days on market. It doesn't give you the contract date. It doesn't give you any of the information that's necessary to complete the appraisal.
So since I'm a member of Hernando Association of Realtors, I probably
Real
can
proud of you,
get
by
the
the way.
data from them. Yeah, I am. Don't clap at me. That is extra money. I don't want to hear it. Okay.
It's so much money too. It's not cheap.
So let's do Hernando's going to gobble up citrus. We're going to have a Quint County area.
What are you talking about? You're just making it up. That is not how it's going to go.
Not making anything up. If we got the Catherine Starkey and Mike Fasano of Hernando County, we can hear their annex plans about Citrus County.
I don't think that.
Oh,
they'll
they're
ever-
not.
I don't
Like Hernando, here's the thing. This is why I don't get why Florida Realtors even puts this data in here because Hernando does not consider themselves part of Tampa. They don't.
Yeah.
We don't either.
Yeah, but exactly. I mean, Katrina doesn't even want to have people from Hernando County on her show.
That is
Oh,
not
that
true.
is so not true.
Cut it out. Okay, let's get to the numbers,
Let's
shall
get
we?
to the numbers so we can talk about the hurricane that's going to hit the state of Florida over the weekend.
All right, so let me go over Q1 numbers really quick. In all 4 counties, the number of closed sales for quarter 1 is up 7.6%, 11,099 homes. And paid in cash is still up 4.9%. We had about 2,600 of those folks. And the median price is $252. Again, this data is super skewed. I don't even like sharing it from Florida Realtors because Hernando is so much different and lower. But $3.4 billion in real estate and 32 days time to contract, 74 days to get to the closing table and exchange keys. Pending sales, 13,365.
So was this efficiency? Because when I compare quarter 1 of 2020 to quarter 1 of 2019, we've got less days to close, less days to the table, less days for everything to happen in the transaction. Is that because more digital things was happening?
Well, I think you have to consider when the whole TRID thing happened, that slowed things down, and then lenders basically got more efficient.
Okay.
And so that's what I think it is. I think lenders were just ultimately getting more efficient. They didn't need 45 days. They could do it in 30.
I think it took the longest in the entire transaction to get the title companies to like get into the groove of where they needed to be.
A lot of title companies went out of business and sold when TRID happened. That was the biggest effect, was TRID, back when the real estate market went from closing to consummation. Which, why don't we ever say consummation on the air?
All right, 14,000 new listings.
That's what it's called. You guys are looking at me like I'm crazy.
No, it is. We'll be back in a minute. Stick around. Tampa Home Talk.
Well, good morning. Welcome back. This is Leo Kane with Beryl Engineering and Inspection. During the break, I was just looking at the NOAA's website. There is a 70% chance of a big blob impacting the state this weekend, which could be tropical in nature. I'm not making it up. You guys thought I was making it up. It's there. Right now it's about the size from Miami through South Carolina, and it's just located east of the state of Florida. And it's just blobbing out there.
How fast is it moving?
Oh, that was going to be my question.
That was your question? I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. It's good.
I thought it was going out to sea.
Great minds together.
Yeah, it's moving out to sea, but it will still impact. It's moving. It's really slow.
But it's on the outside, like the East Coast, right, of Florida?
Yeah, look at the blob. It's on the east coast of Florida.
So less impact for, like, the Gulf of Mexico, right?
Less impact for Hernando County.
Yeah, okay. Whatever.
Okay, so let's go back to the data real quick. So, yeah, just a reminder, we have hurricane season coming up. Adam and I will do our yearly insurance roundup in a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks.
We should do that to prep you for hurricane season, which officially starts June 1st. Make sure you stock up on plywood now, since you have to wait in a really long line at Home Depot.
And apparently water and toilet paper this year, because that'll be a little bit tougher.
I don't think anyone needs to stock up on toilet paper. I literally have
They already bought it all.
I have a walk-in closet at my house dedicated to toilet paper.
It surprises me how many people were living roll to roll previously.
They're the toilet paper hoarders. I got it. Yep, you guys did it. You got a whole closet? You did it, Leo.
You know where I got most of my supply from?
Where?
Your storeroom in the back.
Whatever. Listen, I ordered that before any of this stuff happened, so don't even.
I'm still very happy. There's only one thing I'm happy about this whole incident that's happened, and those air dryers in the bathroom are gone and paper towels are back.
Oh, I hate those air dryers. Yes.
Everyone knew they just spread germs all over the place, and then you never dried your hands anyway with them. Now they're gone. So back to the numbers. Quarter one, we're looking good. We're looking more efficient than last year. We've got less pending. We've got less actives. We've got more closed. Everything looked great. We saw that 7% increase in price. We saw that 7%, 8% increase in closed sales. We saw that dwindling of inventory. We were at the peak of peaks, and then March 11th.
No, we're still here. Like the data from the last 7 days, which we pull for 3 counties, has
four counties.
We pull 3 counties. Did you not hear the whole first segment? Did you not hear the whole first segment? How Hernando County has a whole separate MLS.
Okay. I was politicking for Hernando.
That's what I'm talking
County.
about. You're crossing the wires.
Leo Kane 2021, because the 2020 elections have been delayed till 2021. I just made that up.
I'd vote.
I just made that up.
I can tell.
I'm gonna run on the common sense platform, but I don't know if a lot of people can handle that.
Okay, Katrina, tell us your numbers. Tell the engineer some numbers.
Okay. The new listings 1,060 for 3 counties, 1 week. Pending sales 63% higher, 1,685, and sold properties 787. So
pendings are way up. Why would there be so much of an increase in pendings?
Well, I can tell you what I'm seeing.
I can tell you what I'm seeing.
Well, let's ask the appraiser.
Let me share, and then she'll share, because we get them first, remember? We get them first, then you see them.
Sometimes we get them first.
Most of the time we get them
when
first.
they cash out refinance, we get them first.
Well, I don't do refis. I'm an agent.
I know, but everybody just sucked every nickel out of their house.
But the refis
are to you next.
The refis are not going to be included in the pending, though.
No, not on here.
Yeah, your numbers won't be in these numbers.
No.
So here's what I'm seeing. An influx of people coming from other states that are able to work remotely from anywhere now are moving where they want to live.
Yep.
That's what I'm seeing.
That's what I'm
I
seeing.
had literally in the last 2 days about 4 clients relocating from D.C. I've had New York, I've had California, I've had Alabama just this week.
I have had nothing but people coming from cities to suburbia. The exact same thing. People are leaving the big cities and they're coming to nice flat Florida.
What happens when they reverse all this work at home stuff?
They won't.
I mean, the ones that are coming are telling me they can work from home permanently.
Permanently.
Wow.
They were already, and look at like Starkey Ranch all the way to Ballantrae, all of those houses in between, all those new construction houses. Do you ever notice the cars never leave the driveway? There's a reason. They all work from their homes. People are like, how can people own a $500,000 house in Starkey Ranch? They're all business people that they haven't left home since the house was built. And these people have been working from home for years. So there's a lot of people in Florida that are already working from home, and there was no transition.
So for the person listening, I know we share these numbers every week for 3 counties, but really what's more important is the data in your neighborhood, right? Would you agree, Leo?
Oh, I love that.
That you're more interested in hearing about Ybor City?
The zip code roundup. That was a fun show when we did that.
So if you want that information, I can send it to you. I'll let you know what's going on in your immediate area. We can get you market reports as often or as infrequently as you like. So if you want to get it one time or once a week or once a month, we can send it to you. So just call or text 813-377-2775. Just send us your neighborhood name, 813-377-2775. If you prefer to get it by zip code, we can do that, but I don't think that's a good way to pull data. Most agents and appraisers, for that matter, are going to pull by map and or neighborhood. So I would encourage you to, look in that radius or in your immediate area, and we can get you that data, 813-377-2775.
So I got a question for you, Katrina. When would we say, because we're not having a true V-curve rebound on the real estate market. So when do you think this is going to start to level off? When do you think we're going to start to see?
I don't know that Florida, based on what I'm seeing right now as a very active agent still selling stuff, I don't think that we're going to see that dip. I think we're going to see finally just a cooling off, a nice stable. Yeah.
I think we're going to literally hit a plateau through the summer. And then after the summer,
we'll drop a little,
It's going to drop, and then it's going to come back up at Christmas. Like, it's weird because we always have that weird dip in January and December. And December and January.
Well, the January and those numbers are from the holidays. So they start at Thanksgiving, and they start to show back up around February, March.
Yeah. I really do think it's going to stay steady. I have seen more houses close, sight unseen, than I've ever seen in my life.
We've got access to a lot more information than we ever had. I mean, when you look at these dollhouse views, you can literally walk through the property by clicking through all the circles.
And not only that, but you can really zoom into the grout in the bathroom and tell who's been cleaning their shower. Like some of those dollhouse views,
they're very detailed.
You can actually see 3-dimensionally how dirty the house is, if the house
or
is
how clean,
well kept. And on the clean ones, it's a showstopper.
The only thing you can't tell from what we have available is smell. That's it.
Yeah. If there's a pet odor, that's
or cigarettes or something
odor,
like that. Where
I mean we've seen that too. We've seen a lot less people at our home inspections. We've seen a lot more out-of-state buyers that are buying a home sight unseen. So our inspection reports become even more important because they're relying on our report to let them know what the house looks like to some extent.
Well, and the interesting thing too is how many of your people would you say are not there or are buying it sight unseen?
Oh, it used to be like 50% of our clients were not at the home inspection.
Number.
But no, they've seen the house. They just weren't at the home inspection.
Got it.
We always encourage you to be at the home inspection for the walkthrough, and the report makes more sense when you get a walkthrough. But what we are seeing now is we're probably got like 25 to 30% are sight unseen out-of-state buyers.
I'm seeing the same thing. And when I show up to a house, we ask everybody to leave. And, agents still want to meet us. We're like, here's our email. Send us the stuff you need to send us. The biggest thing for us is if you clear everybody out of the house, we can do our job better and more successfully. Like, it's just having all of the masks, the gloves, the booties.
So I was going to say, you're going in all masked up.
We're going in a full hazmat suit in some cases, especially when it's an older home. If it's a 55 and up, we're protecting them. It's not even to protect us, but it's very expensive to put all this stuff on just to throw it all away. And so if everybody is to just vacate the house, it makes our job so much easier. We can go in with just a mask and gloves, and we're not literally suited up from head to toe. Some of these houses that have elderly people in them and they're actually in a hospital bed, we have no choice but to walk in there like we're in a hazmat suit, and it's scary.
Have you seen an increase in the number of like desktop reviews or drive-bys? Like, are you seeing more of that?
I will not do a desktop or a drive-by. I'm sorry. They're very, very risky. I have asked every one of my clients. I have taken them, accepted them. I've changed the scope of work. I've contacted the homeowners and said, look, Do you want it done right or you want it done wrong?
We probably should explain that for the person listening because that's really our language. So I don't know if the person listening knows what a drive-by
appraisal is where we physically don't see the inside of the house and we do everything based off of online information. Fannie Mae wants us to call up the homeowner and just take the homeowner's word for it on the condition. I refuse to do that. If I don't see the inside of the house, I don't want to appraise it unless it's for foreclosure.
You know what I'm wondering, and I was thinking about this because it's really like it's fresh on my mind because my car is in the shop right now. I get to pick it up today, but I did this thing called a photo estimate, which you probably know all about, Adam, but it was all new for me because, I don't really get in an accident.
Yeah.
But, I could do a photo estimate. It was the other lady's insurance. It was Progressive that was paying the claim because she, pulled out in front of me. But anyway, they said, yeah, you can just do a photo estimate. And I took all these pictures of my car, uploaded them, and they just sent back the estimate and said, that's what we're paying.
Progressive tries to make things as easy as possible.
If somebody did that as an appraiser, but I'm going to take my phone and there's the ceiling is leaking in that corner. Homeowner's going to take a picture here, not here. An appraiser's going to take a picture here. And we're going to know about that leaking roof. If we don't see the inside of the house, we can't accurately do our job. We do drive-bys
So I got a thought on that.
That's it.
We'll chat about that when we come back. Our off-air number, 813-377-2775, 813-377-2775. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
And welcome back to Tampa Home Talk. This is Adam Talley with Talley Insurance, joined by Katrina Madewell with Keller Williams.
And what voice is left?
And what's left of her voice. And Leo Kane, engineer extraordinaire with Beryl Project Engineering and Inspections.
You know what I get when I am out? I was out last night, and some of the people I was hanging around with have heard the show, and they said, who's that guy he's really smart and he tries to be silly, funny? I was like, oh, that's Leo.
I try. No, I am successful at the silly funny. Heavy success.
Crickets.
Time to move on.
Where are you with my sound effects, Pat?
Leo, you're smart. You shouldn't downplay that. Just roll into it.
But I use my smartness for humor.
No, I think people just prefer to hear what you know and not your jokes.
Fine.
So are you two avoiding the hairdressers altogether? Or
No, I have an appointment on Wednesday.
Line? You're still waiting in line.
I'm basically, it's like Black Friday. It's like I'm at Best Buy. I'm in my tent. I'm waiting for that 55-inch HD TV.
Leo looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
He does.
I'm hoping if I wait just one more week or so, I won't have to wear a mask the entire time.
I think you're still going to have to.
Yeah, probably.
But the mask goes around your ears. Would that mean they can't cut your hair around the ears?
Look where I went Monday.
I know.
Let me tell you what. I have a good relationship with my nail lady. And if I didn't have that and tip her well, I don't think I would have got in Monday.
I was the first one in, and she says to me, "You're the best tipper." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so flattered."
Like literally,
I'm
I think
skipping to the nail salon.
I think that's how they book the appointments.
They booked it like that.
Well, we're finally going to go to a restaurant tonight, so I'm very excited.
Are you
going to
sit in the restaurant or on the street?
In the restaurant.
In the
restaurant. Yeah.
It's exciting. I mean, I'm still not going to restaurants. I've just started using my sous vide machine at home.
We went once, but it was our anniversary,
cooking more at home, and it's just I'm enjoying it more.
Me too.
I put my stuff in the sous vide machine, and basically around 9:30, and I've got perfectly cooked food when I want it at noon.
What do you put in there? I'm not familiar with that.
So a sous vide machine is basically it's a French cooking technique, hence sous vide.
It's a meat jacuzzi.
Yeah, it's a meat jacuzzi basically. So
Instapot.
No,
it's not a crock pot.
It's not Instapot.
No. Crock pot is basically you put all your food in and you cook it on low and it all turns to mush. With sous vide, have you ever had like a French cooking where you get the steamed bag of food?
Yep.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but you can do it very easily at home. You put all your stuff in the bag. You put that bag into water set at a perfect temperature. So like let's say you like medium rare steak, 135 degrees. You set your water to 135. Your steak is 135.
That's pretty impressive.
So,
jeez,
yeah.
You should go to Leo's house for dinner.
Every time I'm like,
he has all the gadgets.
His wife.
Are you cooking or your wife?
I use the sous vide machine and the crock pot. and I do the stir frying. She does the baking. She's been watching a lot of the British Baking Show.
Oh, good show. We like that in our household,
We've watched about 70 episodes, so I now know how
I don't watch TV, so you guys have to fill me in.
I now know how to do all these new baking techniques, and I know all these other stuff about doughs and improving drawers. That's where you're supposed to let your bread. I didn't know this about bread. I knew after you put the yeast in, you're supposed to let the bread double in size, basically. Mm-hmm. I didn't know you're supposed to form it into something and let it sit again for a second time. I learned all this stuff about baking.
I had somebody send me an Instapot during quarantine because I have to cook for myself 3 times a day, make lunch. It was awful. I was complaining every day. So somebody sends me an Instapot.
I love those things too.
We got one.
There's a direction manual this big, and I refuse to read it. So I just throw everything in it.
There's recipes in that manual too.
Yeah, it's mostly
Let
recipes.
me tell you, I just throw everything in there and hit start, and everything so far has come out great.
So I got to tell you something cool. See all the balloons right there? There's like 40 balloons. Well,
it
less
looks
now.
like it's Keller Williams' birthday almost.
Hanging
with that
behind
many
Adam's head. So that is like for our team, it's an incentive for May based on appointments that they set. And so there's all kinds of stuff in there. Everything from there's $100 cash in one of them. There's a bunch of cash in them. And you know what else is in there? And I never would have put this in there, but it was my team's suggestion. I'm like, what do you guys want for prizes? Like for set appointments. They're like, how about you cook us dinner? And I'm like,
are you a good cook?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, if you need help, I'm a good cook.
I don't ask them. I mean, Mimi's out there. I think Jade's out there. They're going to hear us on a little bit of a delay, but they'll tell you if they think I'm a good cook. Look, yeah. She's got an ear-to-ear smile. I guess that's a yes. She's getting 5 today, she says. Oh, they're getting 5 balloons today.
Oh, wow.
5 more balloons.
No, they're going to pop some.
Ooh. I would go for the white ones because I can actually see from here what's in the white ones.
Guess what? The better prizes are in the red ones.
I figured as much.
Now I just gave them a tip.
Yeah, better prizes are in the red ones, but you can look at the white ones and you can go for a sure thing that'll be slightly less, or you can go for a random gachapon style.
But a lotto ticket could be worth thousands of dollars if you get one of those. So.
Yeah, I should have shoved some of those in there. I didn't think about it.
I still have scratch-offs from Christmas that I need to turn into.
Ooh, I'll scratch
Let me
them for
tell
you.
you
No, they've already been scratched off, and they're winners. They're winners.
I won on a scratch-off ticket. I don't even do that, but I had some in my purse tucked away. I won several $1,000s.
Nice.
And they wouldn't cash it because it was too late. The game ended.
I have about $7, but how long do I have to cash them in?
It says right on the back when it ends.
Oh,
or you call
90 days or 120 days.
I'm past that because
you better just figure it out quick.
Well, it's $7. I don't think I'll.
Oh well, yeah. This was several $1,000s.
Ouch.
Ooh.
Yeah, that hurt. And then my husband, of course, was like, "Yeah, somebody changed purses and doesn't clean their purse out." And yeah, I don't even hardly carry a purse, but
so back to cooking because I love talking about cooking.
Okay. We should have a cook-off.
We should do a chili cook-off with our Instapots and our crock pots.
I could make fettuccine
Alfredo
from
I
scratch.
cook with my EOC, my salad master.
I know how to do that now too.
Oh yeah, I spent pandemic making pasta. I just wanted to know how.
I tell you, if you do this cooking thing with Kim, I had her on the show before, if you remember. I had her on, and basically she they do this cooking demo, and their cookware is totally different. And if you do that, you will never want to eat out of Teflon again or copper or any of that.
Oh, is this the cookware that has basically the dual line with the layer in the middle?
Oil core skillet, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff's good.
That's what I have.
You think it's like a gimmick at a home show, but it really is great.
No, it
cookware.
is not, and it makes your food taste different.
It does.
It does, because the reality of it is the other cookware
is killing you.
The stuff comes off in your food, and it changes the taste.
Yeah.
Especially the cast iron, but the cast iron has its own benefits too.
It does, but I tell you, after that, I had a bunch of cast iron. I got rid of all my cookware.
I love my cast iron.
I might have kept one. I don't know, but I got rid of most of them.
Cast iron's great. You just sear on the stovetop, throw the whole thing in the oven. Good to go.
So we have some actually common questions that we got, and some questions that some of our listeners wanted to know.
Topic that
we have
about
appraisals this hour?
We do.
What type of show is this? Is a real estate show?
Appraisals.
This is we always real estate
appraisals
roundup.
This hour. Yeah. So this is a question that we get a lot from buyers, and I think it's really interesting. They want to know: do the appraiser know? Do they know what the contract is? What the contract price is?
It depends on the appraiser. But we see the MLS, we see what it's pending. We are to analyze the contract. So yes, we know what the contract price is, but every appraiser does their job differently. I pull all my comps before I look at the contract, but that's just the way I was taught, and it's kind of a habit.
But they always see the contract.
We always see the contract. We're not technically allowed to submit the appraisal without it.
So this is a loaded question too, because it depends on what mortgage company, where it's ordered, all that stuff. But how much do the report cost?
Everybody's different. Everywhere is different. That sometimes we don't know. The bank charges whatever they want. They don't give us the whole fee. So we have no idea how much the homeowner has paid for the appraisal, and we're not even allowed to speak about the fee. We're not even allowed to admit what we're paid.
So, and there's some other questions we get to, and I'll let Adam ask, and we'll chime in.
How do seller concessions affect an appraisal?
Comes right off the top of the sales price, and people hate it. It is what it is. It's
it's a line item adjustment.
It's a line item adjustment, and it must be there. Especially in my markets, it's a requirement dollar for dollar. And
they didn't always do that. That's recent years.
That is since UAD and Dodd-Frank and.
So if you have a neighbor that really needs to get out of their house and they give a bunch back, that kind of hurts your future value.
They adjust it. It's right in the MLS.
We take it right off the top, and you just hurt your entire market.
Wow.
Especially if it's $25,000, if it's $2,000-$3,000, it's no big deal. But we have seen people gift equity, and they just don't know what they're doing. They don't. When they do that, that's a true sale now.
And your neighbors can't do anything about it.
Well, I mean, if they're gifting equity and they're a family member, then it's a non-arm's length transaction.
Why is it going on MLS then?
That's a good point.
It shouldn't be on MLS.
It should only affect your estimate.
That's right.
Which is a spicy cook in the sauce.
We see crazy things. We see people put up their house for sale, and then they need to sell it, and it's not selling fast enough, and they end up selling it to a family member, and that's how they get into this. And then it's recorded on MLS, and it's like, wow, why did you put that there?
So this you kind of answered it with the last question, but what brings a property value down?
The condition, absolutely. The condition, and if it's not a well-maintained home, that's the first thing that we look at. We do pull permits, and if you have no permits on your home for anything, that means you're not maintaining it. And if you put on a roof and they didn't pull a permit,
I want to quote you in the future on that.
Yes,
that is
permits are so important.
That is, if you are not pulling permits on a regular basis for your home, you are not maintaining it. I love that quote.
That's our rule of thumb, and that's where we start because we are lied to.
We can't verify how
they tell us my roof is a year old, and I go and look at permits, and there hasn't been a permit for 18 years. Well, now if you had Uncle Bob put that roof on over the weekend while the county was shut, that is not for my insurance to pay for later.
Yeah, makes sense.
And in that same respect, we can't get you a
your insurance
the FBC
is affected,
credit.
yes.
Yeah, because we can't. How can Leo prove that it's up to code without it being permitted?
If you're going to do this, at least pull a homeowner's permit.
Pull a homeowner's permit,
right?
Please,
and have them verify the work's done correctly.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Grandfather the permit in, do whatever it takes, but when you are going to sell the house, make sure that it's recorded.
I do have a question while we're still talking about value. So how does landscape play into that? So if you let your yard go to crap, but you walk inside the house and it's immaculate, how does that affect things?
It depends on what market you're in and what. The curb appeal is definitely important for the marketability of the home and getting rid of it fast and whatnot. But we're in Florida and the grass dies. If you're in a planned development that the HOAs are making sure that grass is staying green and there's sprinkler systems, it's not a big deal. If you're in a neighborhood that has no sprinkler systems and every summer the grass dies, every summer the grass dies. We can't. In Florida, anyways, we can't nick the value for something. That grass is growing in the summer. Every 2 weeks, it's
on the flip side. If I just spent $20,000 in landscaping, I'm not going to get dollar for dollar. I can tell you that.
Absolutely not.
Now, how do because you see some people that do shell yards instead of grass yards. How does that factor in?
Xeriscape.
It really doesn't affect, but we do go find comps with Xeriscape. So if you're in a market where the Xeriscape or lower sales, you don't want to Xeriscape your house because we do go find
like
that
Apollo
comp.
Beach has a lot of those shell yards,
and it
stuff.
does not affect really because a lot of it is stopping their beach erosion
on the water
as well.
too.
Well, they eat so many oysters down there; they got to do something with it.
One of the ones we get a lot is what happens when the appraisal comes in high or low. And we'll talk about that when we come back right after the break. Also, Sarah Cookie will be joining us from Summit Mortgage to let you know what's been going on this week with your Mortgage Minute. This is Tampa Home Talk. Our off-air number, 813-377-2775, 813-377-2775. We'll be back in just a moment. Stick around.
Well, good morning. Welcome back. This is Leo Kane with Beryl Engineering and Inspection. I am joined. Is Sarah on the phone now?
The smart one.
It's apparently the smart one. So what does that make you, Adam?
I don't know. The funny one, I suppose.
Oh. I guess that would be correct.
Leo was hoping that was his title and I got stripped. So, Sarah, what's up? What you got for our mortgage minute of the day? How's things shaking up in the mortgage world?
So we're still dealing with some really good interest rates right now for people with higher credit scores. Conventional fixed 30-year mortgage rates are in the high 2s, low 3s.
Are you telling me I should have waited before COVID to close on my property? The rates are like 1% less or more.
They're great, and government rates, again, with a higher credit score, are doing wonderful as well. We're working on refinance transactions right now at 2.75%. Things are looking really good price-wise.
I got a curious question for you, because I know you are so busy right now you can't even breathe. How much of your business right now are refinances versus purchases?
So normally I'm about 95% purchase. I would say our refinances have quadrupled right now. Again, the pricing is looking phenomenal with a higher credit score, and that magic number, for example, in a government loan is going to be 640, and in a conventional over 660. That's where we're grabbing the absolute best in terms of interest rate.
That's like average
which is
credit.
very conservative.
Sarah,
by
I'll
the
be
way.
calling you later.
Very conservative.
You just got a customer.
Oh, she's been on the fence for a while. We already knew she was going to buy. She's just been waiting.
Yeah.
So, but for some folks, with lower credit scores, we still want to take a look. We might be able to help. I'm working with a client right now. Actually, one of your clients, Katrina, 629 middle credit score, average credit score 3 months ago would have been just fine for a government loan. Right now, the pricing is not very attractive, under 640.
Isn't it like 5%, 5 points? Like,
it's insane, and you can tell where the threshold is on the credit score because the pricing just absolutely gets horrible. But for this particular scenario, there wasn't a lot of crazy stuff going on the bureau. On the credit file, when we looked at it, we have some really cool tools called what if simulators. We can play around hypothetically with debt in each respective bureau and simulate what it would take to grab some points. So
what she's talking about. Well, the what if simulator, what she's talking about, they can actually go in and play with the algorithms and tell you, okay, if you reduce this balance or pay this off or remove this, this is how much it will impact your score. They're pretty accurate.
Correct. So it's pretty accurate. So you're not shooting off the hip and wondering if you should pay a collection versus paying down a credit card. In this particular scenario, 2 small credit cards. Just pay the balance down. They were getting close to limit, and this client's going to grab over 70 points and move over 700 on credit score. So a lot of times it's something simple that will do the trick. So if there is a concern there, we definitely still want to look at it to see if we can help.
We used to see where, if your balance was 50% or 25% of the credit line, you were in good shape. And now we're seeing more like $10 on a balance gives you can give you what, 50, 60 points? Sometimes it's crazy.
So I moved again because we can play with it in the simulator in this particular for this particular client. I moved the balance over 40%, and I don't gain 70 points. I gain 40. I move it to 27%, and I'm over a 700 credit score. So we literally will play with those limits and balances in $100 increments until we can, reach the best possible outcome.
Yeah, it's a great time to buy. I mean, last question for you, Sarah. Looking at today's rates, let's just assume it's a $300,000 purchase. Someone's putting 20% down. Their credit score is over 720. Looking at the rates where they were like a month or two ago compared to now, how much difference is that in their payment? And I know you probably got to take a second to calculate that. So I'm going to let you do that and let Danielle answer our last 2 questions. Sound good? So
Sure.
The question we had real quick was, and we get this a lot, people want to know, what happens if the house doesn't appraise? What happens if the house appraises for more than my contract price?
We saw this in the beginning of the pandemic. A lot of people were just grabbing the first offer because they thought that they wouldn't be able to get rid of the house, and so they had it listed for $279, but accepted a contract for $255. What do you think the appraiser appraised it at?
List price.
$281.
Yeah. Close to list.
And so it ends up pushing it to a second appraisal a lot of times, because when you appraise over, it's almost worse than appraising under, because now they just think that somebody didn't do their job right.
What's wrong with you? Yeah.
Somebody didn't do their job right, and they want to point the finger, and it's like, sorry, it's the person that accepted the contract.
Can't you look at the days on market though? Like if they get 12 offers and it sells in 3 days.
We can definitely like put our thoughts in there, but really at the end of the day, with this, in this case, they were just scared and accepted a little.
And the good
offer.
news for a buyer, as people don't always look at this, but when you have a contract, it is just that, it's a contract. And your appraisal is totally separate. That's totally a contingency to get a loan.
And we are assessing risk for a loan. We're assessing risk for a bank. Yes, you're the client. Yes, you're paying for the appraisal. But no, you do not own it. You are not the intended user of the appraisal. The bank is. And if you want to question me, you need to get the bank's permission.
It's a requirement for your loan. It's a requirement. And the bank ultimately orders the appraisal.
You get a copy of that appraisal, but you are not allowed to own it.
Now, if it appraises higher, the seller will never know that.
Never.
And we don't even want to see the appraisal, because then, there's nothing to disclose. But it happens, yep.
And if it comes in low, we have a lot of explaining to do, and then we have to, they can do a reconsideration of value, which is just like us appraising it again and explaining why we didn't use all the listings that the agents used to derive the list price. We have to actually go in there and explain why all those comps are not the most suitable for the property.
We had one about a week ago. We're still working on it, and I know Sarah's working on it. The condition was horrible. It's like a Ybor City bungalow. It's the fine line between, do we demolish it and rebuild, or do we rehab it? And so the appraiser appraised it for what it was and as is condition. And so went back, got a reconsideration of value, saying, okay, if they replace the roof, the siding, they do this stuff to bring it up to par, can we get some new comps and get what they call a subject to appraisal, which will bring our value up? And it did. But yeah, the seller's got to repair all those things.
Yeah, that's like a 203K, and we are
this is not a 203K. It's just a straight conventional a reconsideration subject to a different condition.
That's crazy.
All right, Sarah, last question. So $300,000, 20% down, 720 score. How much lower is that payment now compared to 2 months ago?
$132.83.
I'll be calling you. My mom wants you.
And back into that number, if you were going the other direction, that frees up about $30,000 worth of buying power in terms of a purchase price. If you were at a lower price point, with rates as low as they are right now, you've got some wiggle room to move around.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had an amazing first hour. This is Tampa Home Talk. We'll be back for hour number 2 in a minute. Stick around. You will not want to miss it. Mr. Paul Ferreira is going to be joining us. He is an attorney, and he's going to talk all about asset protection, which could be really, really important going into the next several months ahead. Stick around. This is Tampa Home Talk. We'll be back in just a few short minutes.